In the small town of Derry, Maine, an ancient evil lurks beneath the surface. Every few decades, a monstrous entity emerges, preying on the town's children. Its true form is unknown, as it can shape-shift into the deepest fears of its victims, though it often appears as Pennywise the Dancing Clown. In the summer of 1958, a group of 7 children, each an outsider in their own way, begins to encounter the presence of this evil. Bill Denbrough, a sensitive boy with a stutter, is devastated when his younger brother Georgie goes missing while playing with a paper boat in the rain. Bill becomes obsessed with finding out what happened to Georgie, despite the town's dismissive attitude. Bill's friends, Beverly Marsh, a courageous girl from a troubled home, Ben Hanscom, a smart and overweight boy, Richie Tozier, a loudmouth jokester, Eddie Kaspbrak, a hypochondriac with an overbearing mother, Mike Hanlon, a thoughtful boy fascinated by Derry's history, and Stan Uris, a cautious and logical boy, join Bill as they begin to uncover the horrifying truth. The children begin to notice strange occurrences, missing kids, bizarre accidents, and sightings of Pennywise. Each encounter forces them to confront their deepest fears. They discover that the town of Derry itself seems complicit in hiding the evil, with adults often turning a blind eye to violence and disappearances. As the children bond over their shared terror, they form a pact to fight the creature. Using their courage and friendship, they begin to piece together the creature's history and its cyclical emergence every 27 years. Their first direct confrontation with Pennywise is terrifying. The clown attacks them individually, manifesting as their worst fears. Bill sees Georgie's corpse, Beverly faces a monstrous leper, Richie is trapped in a horrifying vision of a gory future. Despite their fear, the children's bond and bravery allow them to fight back. They discover a mysterious ritual, the ritual of Chud, a mythical sea. As the summer of 1958 continues, the Losers Club, the name the group of friends gives themselves, delves deeper into Derry's dark history. Mike Hanlon, who is fascinated by the town's past, discovers a chilling pattern: every 27 years, children vanish or are brutally murdered, always coinciding with the reappearance of Pennywise. The children realize that the creature has been terrorizing Derry for centuries, feeding off fear and exploiting the town's collective apathy. The losers begin to uncover the horrifying reality: Pennywise, the dancing clown, is only one of its forms. The entity is a cosmic, otherworldly being, existing outside conventional time and space. It can manifest as anything that instills terror, which makes it nearly impossible to fight in any conventional sense. The children's confrontations with it become increasingly personal. Each is forced to face their deepest fears, often alone, though their friendship provides crucial support. Bill's obsession with finding Georgie grows stronger as the evidence of the boy's death becomes undeniable. He begins to experience haunting visions and supernatural signs pointing to the location of Georgie's fate. Beverly, coping with abuse at home, emerges as a source of courage and moral strength for the group. Ben, who has long felt like an outcast due to his size, discovers an inner bravery and a knack for strategy that proves invaluable. Richie, despite his humor and bravado, reveals moments of vulnerability that strengthen the group's bond. Eddie, struggling with his overprotective mother, must confront his own sense of dependency and fear, learning to trust his friends. Stan, ever logical and cautious, provides balance, though even he cannot escape the psychological strain of facing the supernatural. The losers confront Pennywise in a terrifying showdown in the sewers beneath Derry. The clown manipulates their fears, attempting to break their will and separate them. Bill, drawing on his grief for Georgie. Nearly 3 decades later, the losers have grown into adults, scattered across the country, living ordinary lives far from Derry. Despite the passage of time, the memory of that summer and the horrors they faced remain vivid. Bill has become a successful writer, haunted by the loss of Georgie and the unresolved trauma of their childhood battle with it. Beverly has endured an abusive marriage but forged a life as an independent and resilient woman. Ben, now confident and accomplished, carries both the wisdom and scars of his youth. Richie continues to use humor as a shield, Eddie struggles with lingering anxieties, Stan has built a structured and orderly life, and Mike remains in Derry, committed to monitoring the town's dark undercurrents. The cycle of terror begins anew when children start disappearing in Derry once again, signaling the return of the ancient entity. Mike reaches out to the group, reminding them of the pact they made years ago: if it ever returns, they must come back to Derry to confront it together. Reluctantly, the adults begin to return, confronting not only the supernatural threat but also the unresolved trauma of their youth. The reunion is tense, filled with nostalgia, guilt, and the re-emergence of childhood fears. As they gather, the losers realize that time has not diminished the power of it. The creature, now aware of their return, manipulates the town and the adults' deepest fears. Each member faces vivid visions that blur the lines between memory and nightmare. Bill struggles with survivor's guilt over Georgie, often questioning his own sanity. Beverly confronts the lasting emotional scars of abuse and her fear of vulnerability. Ben grapples with insecurities about his identity and place in the world. Richie's humor is tested against visions of mortality and chaos. Eddie's anxieties intensify under the oppressive psychic weight of its presence. Stan, logical and controlled, finds his rational mind challenged by the impossible horrors. After the climactic battle in Derry's sewers, the losers emerge physically exhausted but triumphant. The ancient evil that had haunted their town for generations has been vanquished. Pennywise, the shape-shifting manifestation of it, is no longer a threat. The tunnels, once filled with nightmares and grotesque visions, are quiet. The adults realize that the creature's power was not only fueled by fear but also by the town's collective silence and apathy, and now, with it gone, Derry begins to slowly return to normal. As they leave the sewers, memories of their childhood encounters start to fade. The vivid details of terror, courage, and friendship begin to blur, leaving only the emotional imprint of their experiences. They remember the bond they shared, the bravery they discovered within themselves, and the profound connection that allowed them to overcome an almost incomprehensible evil. While the specifics of the horrors are lost, the lessons remain: courage, unity, and love can conquer even the darkest forces. Each member of the losers resumes their adult lives, carrying the subtle but permanent changes wrought by their experiences. Bill returns to writing, now able to channel grief and trauma into creative expression. Beverly pursues independence, empowered by the knowledge of her own strength. Ben becomes a successful architect, confident in his abilities and unburdened by the insecurities of his youth. Richie continues to entertain, but with a newfound maturity and awareness of life's fragility. Eddie gains confidence and perspective, learning to manage his anxieties and trust his own instincts. Stan maintains his orderly life but with a renewed understanding of the inexplicable mysteries that exist beyond logic. Mike remains in Derry, ever watchful, understanding that while it is gone, darkness in other forms may always linger. The town itself begins to heal from the decades of hidden horror. Missing children and unsolved tragedies, once attributed to Neg.